Hi, welcome to Pimp My LinkedIn Profile. I'm Amy.
Hi, and I'm Neil.
So today we've got two really quite amazing profiles. Today we're going to be reviewing Dani Kahil and also Joe Lindstrom. So we have the feeling that these guys have been watching the show because we've got some really cool profiles, but there is always room for improvement. So we're going to dive in.
I've been working hard, Amy, to try and find a couple of areas of improvement for these two profiles, but they're both really good. It'll be interesting to see what our scores are at the end of this review today.
Definitely. So we're going to start with Dani. So Dani, I believe Neil and Dani have worked together, so I know Dani quite well as well, but I thought I'll take him on because it's a bit easier to review someone you don't know quite so well. So my first impressions from Dani's profile, I really like that. Again, we're back to the headline photo. It's what draws me in now every time. This is what Dani's quite about at the minute. I know that what he's up to, he's really about this solution envisioning. And immediately I can see that he's really up to something there. And I'm intrigued as to want to know more about this little image going on in the headline. My only criticism would be I'd love it even more if it had a white background. But that is me being super picky and trying.
Oh, you don't like the grey?
Yeah. So yeah, really nice photo. I've never met Dani, but I've chatted to him on Teams, as everyone does these days, and it looks like him. Really nice photo and a really nice blurred background. It looks really smart. Everything looks really good on first impressions. I know what he does, who he is, where he is, and what he's up to.
Good.
So let's have a look at the about. I think he's done a really good job of it. Again, it's a bit of a rocky one of what to say. My main criticism here, and I was really digging for problems, he used the term CE. And to me, I believe CE is dead. And so is CRM. But my question is, not everyone knows that, and not everyone that's going to be looking at Dani is going to be a Power Platform or business applications expert. So is it right for him to leave it in or not?
I think it's okay. I think customer engagement isn't a term that caught on very long, and you're right, Microsoft has deprecated it already. It's not as well known an industry term as CRM. So I think prospective clients, recruiters, whoever Dani's tailoring his profile for may well be searching on CRM. So it's good to include that acronym in there as well.
Yeah. It's really quite interesting because you think you want to be really ahead of the times and be like on the edge with the Power Platform, but actually not everyone knows that, and that's why you are a specialist. So you've got to cater for everyone in that audience.
Yeah, good advice.
I like that he's used his featured area, but they are kind of very, very similar. I'd like a little bit more variety in the featured area and to see a bit more about the other stuff he does. I know he's all about his solution envisioning, and it's really awesome, and mastering requirements, but I'd love to see what else he's about there. Activity-wise, again, so I think either Dani, well, he can't because he can't go back and fix all his activity, but he ticks my Amy boxes of what I said. So it's kind of like he shares his own stuff, he creates his own stuff, but he also interacts with other people's things and shouts about those. He's really interactive on his activity. And again, the only thing I could find was that I found a little video clip, which was really, really cool. But I think for little video clips, I'm not sure whether it'd be really nice for little video clips to have subtitles. If it's just a little 2-minute one, I actually was inspired by speaking to a lady about more accessibility, and he's got a really cool video, but I didn't have the device to play the sound. I think I was in a Teams meeting, and I would have loved to have seen what he was talking about. So that was my only criticism, but otherwise super active, really awesome input. Great work, Dani.
What do you think of Danis Experience section, Amy?
I think it's pretty good. It's nice and detailed. It's outlined with bullet points. I really, really like it. It just, again, like we said for a few people, it drags on a bit. There's a lot going back a long way, which shows good experience levels. But again, it's like, I think some of them a little bit later on could retire unless Dani wants to go back to being in web development. You could maybe put that baby to rest. What do you think about it?
I like it. I think it's good. I think it's amazing how many places Dani has lived and worked. He's lived in Poland and done a master's there. It looks like he was educated in Kinshasa, in Africa. He worked in Malaysia, in Belgium, in Congo, and now he's here, and then he's in Brussels. He's been to Sydney, and now he's in the Gold Coast in Australia. So Dani has seen a lot of the world in his career. So really interesting.
Pretty amazing.
He's got a couple of LinkedIn certifications there. I don't place a lot of value on those. You watch a few videos and you get a certification. It's not the highest value. He's got his professional Scrum Master. Woohoo! Look, he's taken my Introduction to Scrum course, and he's got that in there. Well, that is a very high value certificate. So that should probably be in his education section, right up there above his master's degree.
It should definitely be top of the list, just below like his about. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm Scrum certified with master or customary.
He's got some 2017, just trying to see how far back these go. Now we're in 2012. So a lot of Microsoft certifications there, Dani. 2008. Good on you, CRM 4.0.
Wow.
So probably time to retire a few of those.
Just as a side comment, he looks incredibly youthful to have been around all that time. Jeez.
Yeah, I've met Dani, and he's as vibrant in real life as he looks in his picture. So awesome guy.
Eternal youth. See, I thought the LinkedIn certs were kind of cool because they really align to what I know that Dani's about. So they're not as credible as, for example, a Microsoft certification, but the ones that he'd chosen were very relevant to what he's about and what he's focusing on. So I quite like that they were nicely placed at the top with his focus at the minute. Yeah,
that's true. It can be a good signpost of where you want your career to go. People can see your current and recent interests.
Definitely agree there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's a really fantastic, strong profile. He interacts. He's telling you what he's about. It kind of, as far as I know, Dani, it really communicates who he is and what he's about. His recommendations look good. He's got endorsements that are relevant to what he does. I'm finding it hard to pick any holes in it. Have you got anything you don't like?
I think Dani's profile's really solid. One tiny little thing I would add, there's a new feature on LinkedIn so you can add the pronunciation of your name to your profile. I think you can only do it through the LinkedIn mobile app on your phone or tablet. It doesn't work on the web version on the desktop, but you can go in there and record. I think it's up to about 30 seconds. So you can actually use it for a little bit of personal branding as well. Dani's, not everybody might be able to pronounce Dani's name. So Dani Kahil, I've heard Cahill or Cahill, which is a British version of a similar name. So Dani might want to clarify that by adding his pronunciation to his profile.
That's a really, really good tip. That's really nice. Awesome.
He's got good contact sections there as well. I would just add Dani's empired email address in there as well, just in case clients or prospective clients are trying to contact him about a project or something that they're working on together, so they can get him at work as well as his personal email. And otherwise, super strong profile, Dani. Good job.
Good work. So out of 10, what do we give him?
Got to go 9, I think, for Dani's profile from me. What about you, Amy?
Completely agree. A really solid 9. And I think there's not much you can do to push it up that far. There's a few little bits, but overall, solid 9. Good work, Dani.
Yeah, good. So for everybody else watching, Dani is a good profile to maybe take a few tips from. Let's swap over to Joel Lindstrom. Another very strong profile, Amy. So I'm going to give Joel's profile a review. It's going to be tough because, it's a very strong profile. Plus, I know Joel very well. We've known each other way back for well over 10 years. So a good profile photograph. I definitely recognize Joel. Doesn't give you a sense of how tall he is. Joel's normally the guy who's banging his head on the doorway and taking out lights with his
I had no idea. I've only ever seen him virtually, and I thought he was just an average type man. So that's really cool to know.
He's definitely on the taller side. Quite like the background. It's a MVP shot of some of the awards that Joel has received, and Joel is very well credentialed. I just think it's a little out of focus. That bothers me, but it might be fine for most people. Joel has a great headline here. So principal architect for Power Platform at Hitachi Solutions. I love that. Nice and clear, his job title and where he works in the first segment. But then he goes on to embellish that with some other credentials that Joel has. 13 times MVP. He's a Microsoft certified trainer, a podcaster. He's into Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dynamics 365. So great keywords, lets you know exactly what he does at work and his professional interests there as well. So I really love that headline. Joel, I think, has probably used up every single character. I think you're allowed 120 characters in there. Joel must be 121. It's awesome.
It's really good. It almost sounds too good to be true, but because I know him a bit as well, it's actually all real and true as well, which is quite terrifyingly amazing.
That's good. Let's see his contact info. Yep, nice work email address. He's got his mobile phone there and his Twitter handle, which is really useful. If you're also on Twitter and using LinkedIn, great way to connect the two so people can reach you on Twitter. Twitter tends to be a little bit less formal, more chatty, so it might be a good way to reach Joel as well. Coming down, I like his the rest of his profile here. His help section, his about section is nice and short, pretty solid, nothing too flashy. Tells me as a prospective client, which I think Joel's aiming his profile at, exactly what he does and how he can help them. Very professional. His featured media could include, well, there's a broken graphic here. So CRM tip of the day, CRM audio. Joel has just a phenomenal back catalogue of media. I think he could refresh this every now and again and make sure that the graphics are coming through there.
Yeah, I think it's a bit confusing. I don't know who the guy is on the CRM audio, but that's definitely not Joel. It'd be nice to have like a logo or something else there. So yeah, fix up the images on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's Sean McNellis from Microsoft. So it's not Joel. Yes, it needs to either tell us it's somebody else and who it is, or put this show logo or something on there instead. I agree. Joel's very active on LinkedIn. It's great to see him there. He's commenting, he's replying, he's sharing, he's liking. So great engagement. And if I scroll back up a bit, you'll notice that Joel is also a LinkedIn Premium subscriber, which is great to see. So if you are going to be super active on LinkedIn and really use it, I highly recommend the Premium subscription. There's a number of them. You can get one just for learning, which gives you access to all the LinkedIn learning content. It just gives you things like more searches and some other nice features from LinkedIn Premium. His experience is okay. He's a practice leader at Hitachi Solutions, so he's a principal architect. Not a lot of achievements or description in there. Perhaps Joel has found that if he does enrich that section, it just attracts recruiters, and that might not be what he wants. But even for prospective clients, I think it's great just to show them your achievements. So I would highlight there. Definitely. We talked about this before, Amy. He's got the owner of the Dynamic Podcast, the CRM Audio Podcast Network, and a contributor for CRM Tip of the Day. What do you think about community contributions in your work experience?
I still don't think it's right to be an experience. I think that's where the featured area could be used nicely, and I think he has used it there. I think with the featured, when you add a feature, you can actually customize the description. And I think that would be a nicer place for those to sit. Firstly, it's higher up. And secondly, it's more relevant there than it is when we're talking about work experience.
Yeah, I'm in two minds. I've got it. I recently added my own podcast to my experience section as well. So I can't criticize Joel too much. But take on board your feedback. Thanks, Amy. Good set of licenses and certifications. Some of these are a little older as well, but not too bad. They're 2018 or so. So those are pretty well trimmed. And I love it, Joel. You're a certified Scrum product owner from Scrum Alliance, which is
Gold
awesome.
Star.
Yeah. Good set of skills and endorsements. Again, you can select the keywords from here that you want people to find you whenever they're searching. Only a couple of recommendations. Joel has given 3 and not received any yet.
Aww.
So, I know. Joel's maybe a little shy about asking for recommendations on LinkedIn, but Joel, you might want to just ask some of your MVP friends to give you a thumbs up and write your little recommendation.
I feel like we could manage one for him as well.
Couple of good accomplishments there as well. I've noticed on Dani's profile, he's got some volunteer experience, which we don't often see on LinkedIn profiles. So Yeah, that was good. Joel's got some publications that he's worked on, and then of course his MVP award and top 100 most influential from 2012.
2012.
I can only imagine Joel's influence has gone up since then.
Oh,
So
I didn't even know
solid,
that list existed. That's amazing.
another solid profile there. Amy, what do you think out of 10? What would you give Joel's LinkedIn profile?
I can't. I think he just pipped Dani to the post for me. Like, I'm going to give him a solid, like, he's a 9.5. I can't give away a 10 yet, but he's a 9.5.
Yeah, I think I put them on a par, so I think they're both 9s for me. Joel probably doesn't need to add the pronunciation of his name, Lindstrom. I don't know how many people can mispronounce it, but I'm sure, knowing Joel, has got a few stories. But yeah, there's very, very little you could improve on that. Well done, Joel. Great profile.
Awesome. Gold star. That was super fun. Thanks so much, Neil.
Thank you, Amy. So
I look forward to next week. We're going to have 2 more profiles ready to review, and we will get them pimped.
Yeah, so remember, everybody, to send in your application, and I take a quick look through the YouTube subscribers. So that's why I picked Joel's profile, because he's subscribed to our YouTube channel and he's filled in our little application form. So if you want to appear on the show, that's a really good way to do it.
Definitely subscribe, definitely fill in the form. We'd love to hear from you. And it has been a pleasure.
Thanks, Amy. Catch you next time. Bye for now.